We first meet him cloaked in mystery, emerging from the vast, shimmering heat of Tatooine's Jundland wastes. A figure of quiet dignity, his presence immediately commands attention, not through flashy adornments, but through a profound stillness, an ancient wisdom etched into every line of his weathered face. This is Obi-Wan Kenobi, the hermit, the guardian of a forgotten age. And central to his iconic image, right from that very first frame, are those simple, unassuming robes, a testament to an aesthetic that is both timeless and deeply personal. But what if I told you that this instantly recognizable outfit, the very embodiment of the Jedi Order's humble resilience, wasn't the product of elaborate design sketches or bespoke tailoring? What if its origin story was far more ordinary, yet in its ordinariness, held a secret that perfectly encapsulates the resourceful magic of early blockbuster filmmaking? Imagine this. It's the mid-1970s. A young, ambitious filmmaker named George Lucas is attempting to bring his sprawling space opera, Star Wars, to life on what, by today's standards for a project of this scale, was a remarkably tight budget and an even tighter production schedule. Every dollar, every prop, every costume decision had to be meticulously considered, often leaning on ingenuity over extravagance. When it came to outfitting Sir Alec Guinness as Obi-Wan Kenobi, the vision was clear. This character needed to embody the ascetic life of a desert hermit. He wasn't a dazzling warrior in polished armor, but a sagely wanderer, someone who had forsaken the grandeur of the Old Republic for a life of quiet contemplation and watchful solitude. The costume had to speak to this humble existence, to the harsh realities of Tatooine, and to the character's profound connection to the natural world. And so, the search began not in the hollowed halls of a custom costume department, but in the bustling, eclectic aisles of a London costume rental house. Think of it, racks upon racks of garments, worn and new, from countless productions past. It was here, amidst the flotsam and jetsam of theatrical history, that Obi-Wan's iconic look began to coalesce. The core of the costume, those flowing brown robes, weren't custom dyed or intricately woven for the film. Instead, they were practical, off-the-rack pieces. Perhaps they'd seen life on a theatrical stage as a monk's habit, or been part of an historical drama, their earthy tones already perfectly faded by time and use. This provided an instant lived-in quality that would have been expensive and time-consuming to replicate from scratch. To complete the ensemble, a simple, sturdy leather belt was added, not a custom piece, but likely another find from the rental house, or perhaps a practical item sourced from a leather goods store. It served a functional purpose, hinting at the need for utility in a harsh environment, and providing a subtle point of contrast against the flowing fabric. The boots, too, would have been chosen for their utilitarian appearance, hinting at long journeys across unforgiving sands. The true genius lay not in the individual components themselves, but in their assembly and treatment. These disparate pieces, humble in their origin, were then brought together and subtly distressed. Dust was applied, fabrics were subtly frayed, and the overall look was weathered to perfection. The aim was to make it appear as though Obi-Wan had literally spent years in these garments, enduring the twin suns and biting sandstorms of Tatooine. This was practical filmmaking at its finest, leveraging existing resources to create an authentic, believable aesthetic. The result was astonishing. The simple brown robes, the leather belt, the weathered look, they didn't scream Hollywood blockbuster. Instead, they whispered ancient wisdom, hardship, resilience. They perfectly underscored Sir Alec Guinness's quiet, authoritative performance, allowing the audience to immediately understand Obi-Wan's character without a single word being spoken about his past. He wasn't a general in a gleaming uniform. He was a wise man cloaked in the humility of the desert. This humble origin story of Obi-Wan Kenobi's robes is more than just a fascinating tidbit of cinematic trivia. It's a powerful lesson in the art of resourceful filmmaking. It demonstrates that true creativity isn't always about limitless budgets or bespoke designs. Sometimes it's about seeing the potential in what's already available, about piecing together disparate elements with a clear artistic vision, and through ingenuity, transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary. The Jedi Order, as we came to know it, was defined by principles of self-restraint, wisdom, and a connection to something larger than themselves. It's almost poetic, then, that their most iconic visual representation, the very robes that would come to define the Jedi for generations to come, inspiring countless costumes, toys, and fan interpretations, emerged not from a grand design studio, but from the pragmatic, humble shelves of a rental house. It's a wonderful example of how creative, resourceful filmmaking can lead to some of the most enduring and recognizable designs in cinematic history. These seemingly simple choices, born of necessity and vision, imbued the character of Obi-Wan Kenobi with an immediate, deep-seated authenticity that resonated profoundly with audiences. And in doing so, they forged an iconic look that continues to inspire and define a universe far, far away. What are your thoughts on this resourceful approach to costume design? Did you ever suspect Obi-Wan's robes had such an unassuming beginning? Share your reflections in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into cinematic history, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more stories behind the magic of film.